Good day everyone, this is the continuation of our Java programming tutorial. So we have installed the Java runtime environment and the Java Software Development Kit or SDK, and we installed Eclipse. Now we're going to create a program in Java using the Eclipse. So my version is the Eclipse Neon 3, and it has a light and dark theme. So I configured my Eclipse to be using the dark theme. So it is currently loading the themes and preferences. So wait for it. Okay, so this is the Eclipse environment. So we have the Package Explorer panel. So this is where we can find our existing projects, and we have the development or the editor panel and the console panel. Okay. So next, let's create a new project. So by clicking File, New, then Java Project. Okay. So let's name this as my first project, since this is my first project in Java. And Eclipse will going to create a folder inside the Documents Workspace tutorials and the same name with your project. Then select the version of the Java runtime environment that it will going to use. So currently I have the 1.8, that's the latest. So you should select the latest JRE version. Then click Finish. Okay, so we have this project, my first project. Then let's create a package. So in Java, the package is a way to organize your codes so that to avoid the naming collisions. In other programming languages like C#, you are using namespaces. So the format for the packages usually an inverted web domain name. So for example, my website named www.myjavaproject.com. I'm going to name it as like this, com.myfirstproject. Okay, then click Finish. So you need to exclude the www, the first part. Next, we need to add a class in the inside the package. So right click on the package, New, and then click Class. Okay, next is to create a class inside the package. So name our class as my first class. And then in the lower portion, there's a selection. So which method stubs would you like to create? You can auto-generate the public static void main or the main method or not. So let's try to add it. So next, click Finish. Okay. So we have the first class, and as you can see, the main method is automatically generated. Okay, so let's try to print something in our console. So let's use the proverbial hello world message. So let's type system.out.println. Sorry, I have wrong spelling. Println. Okay, then okay, semicolon. Then click the run button. Okay, so here it is. So we have printed a string in the console or in the terminal. We said that it's a string because it is delimited with double quotes like here. So double quote here, the opening and the closing part. So this is a kind of a string literal. It means that you have written the actual string. So we can change it later when we are in the variables and the strings. So whatever you're going to print in the console, you're going to use the print line. Okay. So let's try another system.out.print. So we have also the print. So the difference of print and print line is that the print line has a new line at the end of the string. It means that the next string after the word world will be printed below it. So let's look at it. So this is a line. Okay, let's try this one, and another printing. So using the print, this is another line. Okay, so let's press run. Okay, so let's look at the console. So as you can see, uh, this is a line and this is another line printed in the same line because of the we just use the print, not the print line. So if we use the print in the second printing, which is this is a line, it will push or print the next line or the next string that you're going to print on the next line. Okay, so there it is. So but if you want to cut a string in the middle or print the next string in the next line without using print line, you can use the escape sequence. So let's note it here, escape sequence. So \n for a new line, \t for tab. Okay, so let's try these two. So use again the print, then let's append the \n. So let's see what will happen. Okay, so this, the word "this is another line" is printed in another line. Now let's try the \t. So system.out.print. So I know what you're thinking. Then let's put the \t. Pineapple. Okay. If I run this, you can see that there's a \n. It push the line 4 spaces from the end of that string before the character \t. So it means that it is a tab, and it will go into tab all of the strings on the right side of \t. It means that it will add 4 spaces. Okay, so that is the basic printing in Java using the console, and we have discussed the print line, print, and \t and \n as using of the escape sequence. Okay, so let's try another examples. So let's clear this one, and maybe we can minimize this package explorer. Okay, so that we can view properly the editor and the console output. Okay, next is how to use different values in Java. So it means that how are you going to treat the strings, integers, doubles, double and float. Okay, so these are called data types or basic data types in Java, and we can use it using the variable. So a variable is a type of object that holds a value during the runtime, during the cycle of the program. So once you've stopped, all of the values in that variable will be cleared in the memory. So to declare a variable in Java, you can type int as integer. So for example, we have this age, okay, or you can declare like this one, num1 is equals to 5, num2 is equals to 37. Then we can apply mathematical operations on these variables, like this one, num1 plus num2. Okay, so whatever values stored in num1 and num2 will be saved in the sum. Okay, so let's look at the values of those. So let's try this. The age is as age. Let's print first the age. So click run. Okay, so the age is 10 because our variable, we specified that the value of integer age is 10. So we applied the plus sign. So this on this scenario, since we have a string type, which is delimited by open and close double quotes, and an integer type, the plus operator will act as an append operator. It means that whatever value of the right side or left side of the plus sign will be included in the string and will be treated as string. So that's why we have this one. So it append the value of 10 in the string of the age is. So that's it. So if you want, let's look at the sum system.out.print, or let's use print line. So the sum is sum. Then, okay, so 42. So we have 37 plus 5 is equals to 42. So that is the value that we can get if we apply the operator. So this time, the plus operator acts as a adder or addition operator. Since the num1 and num2 are both type integers or numbers, the plus operator will act as an addition operator, and it will do the necessary mathematical operations, which is addition. So that's why we can see that the sum is 42, right? That now, if you change this, for example, we use the num1, then num2, what would be the output? Let's see if it is still 42. No, it is 537. As you can see, the operator now acts as an append operator. So it treats the num1 as a string and num2 as a string also, and append it to the string the sum is. That's why you see the 5 and 37 are put together side by side because of the append operator. Now, if we use the open and close parentheses to group operations like this one, so what will happen? Let's look at it. Okay, so we have, go back to 42. So the open and close parentheses treat this first group as the first operation that need to do. So the plus operation applied to these two numbers only before appending the whole result to the string. Okay, so we can learn more about the what you call the operator precedence, how to apply mathematical operators and parentheses in computations. Okay, so we have discussed the integer. Next, we need to discuss about the double. So double are values that has decimal values, like for example pi. Okay, so the pi is has a value of 3.14156. Okay, so this is a type double. Integer is a type. It's a whole number. It means that you cannot store value with the decimal value like that. Okay. So as you can see, there's an error because type mismatch cannot convert from double to int, because by default this is a double value. So you need only a whole number, a negative number like this one, or 0 like this one, but not decimal values. Yeah. So these are type ints. So type double will be something like that. Okay. If you want to use a float and you want to add a string double literal, so for example, float weight is equals to 58.7. So if you type 58.7, Java runtime environment will treat it as double by default. So that's why we have an error here. It says that can convert from double to float. So to do a conversion from double literal to float, you need to put letter F on the last number of a double value, or you can do something like this one. So it means that the value 58.7 will be converted to float before assigning it into the variable weight. Okay, so if you want to print it, it's the same as printing the integer. So the value of pi is pi. So send that out, that print line. Your height is, sorry, it's a weight. Your weight is weight. Okay, so running the program. Okay, so we can print the value of double and float. Okay, so these are the number types in Java: the integers, doubles, and floats. Now, how about strings? So let's clear this first. To declare string, you can type string, then the variable name, and then the string that you want it contained. So for example, John Doe for the name. Then print out the value of our variable. So hello plus name. Then run. Okay, so we have an output, hello John Doe. Now, programs are not just having a default value written in the source code. Most of the time, it needs to have an input from the user so that it can act properly on it. Depends on what type of program you're doing or what you have created. So for example, if you want an grade computation program, you need to receive the input as grades. So let's talk about how to receive input from the console. So let's clear this first. In Java, we need to use external classes and import it when we need it. So to use to use an input class for our program, we need to import a class. So something like this. Type import Java, then util.scanner. So scanner is a class that can listen to the console for the inputs. So once imported, it means that our program we're gonna use a class scanner. So once our scanner is declared, we need to create an instance of the class scanner, or an variable or an object of class scanner. So you need to type scanner, the name of your object. So I'll name it as input. You can name it whatever you want, as long as it is a valid variable name. So scanner input is equals to new scanner, then system.in. So since this is a class, we need to put the new and the calling the constructor of our class, which is the scanner. So we can discuss about constructors and how to create your own classes when we go to the object-oriented programming. So system that in means that it will going to listen on the input via the keyboard in the console. So our medium to receive the input is our object input. So let's say we need to prompt the user to enter their name. So let's try to print out first the prompt. So please enter your name. Okay. Then declare the variable name is equals to input dot. So what method are we going to call? So since input is a class, it has a it has a lot of methods that we can call to help whatever input are going to use. So using the dot operator, we can access the methods that are belong in the class scanner. So there's a lot of it. So for string, it is called next line. So the good thing about Eclipse is that there is description of the class and methods that you are using. So highlighting the next line, it explains that the advances scanner past the current line and returns the input that was skipped. This method returns the rest of the current line, including any line separator at the end. The position is set at the beginning of the next line. So that returns the line that was skipped. So it means that when we type string in the console and then press return, it will treat it as string and save it into our variable name. Okay. Next, let's output whatever name we have written. Hello there, plus name. Okay, so let's run. So please enter your name. So let's say John Doe. So hello there, John Doe. Let's try it again. Please enter your name, Susan Baker. Hello there, Susan Baker. So as you can see, we can enter different values and the program will act on it. And it is much more intuitive, the program that we are doing. Now let's try for other types like numbers. So let's add age. So declare a variable of type age. Then let's prompt the user to enter their age. How old are you? Then use the age to receive the input. So what method are we going to use, or function are we going to use? It is the next int. So this one, so the int is scanned from the input. So whatever value that you have entered in the console, it will assume that it is an integer. So if it is not, if the value that you have entered is cannot be converted to int, it will cause an error. So let's try. Then output the age. So let's say I am also plus age plus years old. Okay. So enter your name, John Doe. Okay. How old are you? Let's say 25. I'm also 25 years old. Okay. So the string 25 is converted into integer because it has a proper format of a number, which is 25. But if you enter a value that could not be converted into a particular type, for example integer, it will cause an error. Right? something like this. So for example, you accidentally type letter A and the numbers 13. Okay, then press enter. Okay, so we have an error here. So it says exception thread main input mismatch exception. So the format A13 cannot be converted to integer. So that is the cause of the error. So when we arrive at our lesson about error handling, we will talk about how to handle errors like conversion errors. Now let's try again last for type double. Double, let's say height. It's an empty variable. Next, prompt the user. So how tall are you in centimeters? Let's say. So height is equals to input dot. So we have here a next double. So this is for the double. If you are going to assume that the value should receive double. Okay. So since height is type double, we use the next double as the function that we need to call in input. Then let's print the result. So let's say your height of plus height. So, so is quite tall. Okay, so so we can expand into the next line the string by pressing enter. Okay, so that's it. So let's try again. Enter your name, Susan Baker. How old are you? 20. How tall are you in centimeters? So 178.9 centimeters. Your height of 178.9 is quite tall. Okay. So that is the basic input and output in Java. We have used the scanner class to receive the input and using the appropriate method call like next line, next in the next double for the appropriate type of your variable.